Alrighty, let's keep it going. Step 3, improving your sleep and stress management first. So, like I touched on briefly in the first lecture, of the three big habits that you need to have in control in order to lose weight and be your best healthy self, sleep is the most important. So, when we talk about diet, exercise, and sleep, sleep is at the top. Nutrition is the second, fitness is third. Because without good sleep, you won't have energy to push yourself and exercise. Without good sleep, you won't be alert. Without good sleep, you won't be creative. You won't be able to manage your stress. And the interesting thing that many of us don't realize is that sleep impacts your cravings. So there's two things that sleep does that affects the way you eat. One, when you don't get enough sleep, your body increases the production of a hormone called ghrelin, which is actually referred to as the hunger hormone. Meaning that when you don't get enough sleep, your body increases this hormone and you're actually hungrier throughout the day. And that's not all. When you don't get enough sleep, your body decreases the production of a hormone, your brain, sorry, decreases the production of a hormone called leptin. And leptin is the hormone that signals to your brain that you're full. So think about that. Listen to this double whammy. When you don't get enough sleep, you are hungrier and you don't know when you're full. So you're going to eat, 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 and that signal, that hormone that tells you that you're full, the production of leptin gets decreased, so you're going to keep eating. And that's one of the chronic obstacles that a lot of women face when it comes to weight loss because you're gaining weight. If you're not getting enough sleep, you're likely going to stay up late eating, munching mindlessly. Now here's the other thing: sleep and stress. So again, in the first lecture, I talked about how stress is such a huge detriment to the fitness journey, to your weight loss journey. And when you're stressed out, you're basically your nervous system is out of whack, and it can actually promote weight gain. Sleep is one of the best, if not the best antidote to stress. Meaning that if you're stressed out, it is vitally important for you to get sleep because sleep is when your body breaks down the stress hormone cortisol. So it breaks down and metabolizes cortisol. It allows your nervous system to rest, repair, and recover. So it's so important. Sleep and stress go hand in hand. Let me put it another way. You're not going to find someone who sleeps really well who's also super high stressed. Conversely, you're not going to find someone who is low stress and doesn't get a lot of sleep. Right? If someone doesn't get a lot of sleep, they're inherently 9 times out of 10 are going to be high stress. So your sleep and stress work hand in hand. And so if you're a high stress person, it's very likely that you don't get good sleep. And if you are a woman in your 40s watching this lecture right now, it's a very good chance that you are chronically stressed. And like again, first lecture we talked about the parasympathetic nervous system and the sympathetic nervous system. To be able to switch to your parasympathetic nervous system, which is the system in your body that calms you down. That's what you need to activate in order to sleep. So one of the biggest modules in my coaching program with clients is in the first month, we actually just work on sleep. The first phase of of our program is called rest and reflection. And because you would have been going years and years and years, going, high stress, going through obstacle after obstacle, life challenge after life challenge, without ever giving yourself an extended period of time where you can rest. The 1 week vacation here and there over the years is just a drop in the bucket, and that will not undo all the stress you've accumulated. So, first things first, you got to get your sleep in order. What do you need to do? You need to aim for 7+ hours of sleep. That means if you want to get 7 hours of sleep, you actually need to be in bed for 7.5 to 8 hours because no one falls asleep right away. You might be one of the few who can fall asleep right away, but here's the thing about that. If you're falling asleep as soon as your head hits the pillow, that's a signal that you are chronically exhausted. You actually want to be able to lay in bed for anywhere between 5 to 15, 20 minutes and let yourself slowly drift off into sleep. So, if you want to get 7 hours of sleep minimum, you need to be in bed 7.5 to 8 hours so that you can allow your body to wind down. The way to do that is you need to keep a consistent bedtime and wake up routine. You need to build a nighttime routine. Again, we talked about boundaries. You need to set boundaries to say, okay, at this time, no matter what's done and what's outstanding, this is where I stop. And you start your bedtime routine. You want to put on some nice music, take a bath, go over your schedule for the next day, read a book, light some incense, light some candles, like make it your own so that these practices that you continue to do over time will begin to signal to your brain that it's sleep time. So the more you do this routine, the easier it is for you and your mind to shut down. And you'll actually begin to get sleepy at the same time every night. And you'll fall asleep at the same time and wake up at the same time every morning. Reduce your caffeine after 2 p.m. So if you're sensitive to caffeine, it doesn't matter how tired you are. If you have a hard time falling asleep and staying asleep, oftentimes it's because there's caffeine still in your system, not to mention the stress that you're dealing with. And then, of course, yes, a wind down routine, dim the lights, read, stretch, do some deep breathing, listen to an audiobook or read anything that you feel that is relaxing to you. Now, um, I'm a big proponent of meditation, obviously, being a meditation teacher. And so you can either go on YouTube and find meditations that can help you calm down. You can go on Spotify as well. I send meditations to my clients. I actually have meditations on my YouTube channel. If you're interested in that, you can go on. They're free. I have 5-minute meditations, 7-minute meditations, some longer, depending on what you need. I have them available on my YouTube channel, so you're welcome to check those out. Body scans are really good. So just laying in bed, closing your eyes, and just mentally scanning your body. How are you feeling? Just paying attention to the sensations, taking some deep breaths. With each breath, you want to envision your body and your muscles relaxing. And that's a nice way, a very, very effective way to fall into a relaxing state. Journaling, something that I've been doing a lot this year. Never really journal a lot. I write and like writing poetry and whatnot because that's calming for me. But journaling about what you're worried about, the things on your mind, the obstacles in your way. And no, it doesn't solve the problem, but seeing it in front of you, it's an outlet. It is the equivalent of talking to someone, but you're talking to yourself. And it's always cool to flip back to see all the things you were worried about that came to pass and that you were able to overcome it anyway. And you were able to overcome it, and you know you're going to overcome it because whatever you're dealing with it now, 5, 10 years ago, there was something you were dealing with that you weren't sure how you're going to overcome it, and you overcame it. And then finally, setting boundaries. Like again, you notice there's a theme here, right? In these lectures, we're talking about boundaries. Boundaries are a non-negotiable. Like you have to learn to set boundaries with the people in your life, but also yourself. So the people in your life, workers, your manager, your husband, your children, your mother, your friends, you have to be able to set boundaries and say, I can't do this or I won't do this because X, Y, Z. This is what I'm working on. Share, don't share, it doesn't matter. Setting boundaries is actually a sign of respect, a sign of showing respect for yourself. Having self-respect and saying, I respect myself enough to know what my limit is. I have goals for myself. So when you set boundaries around work, social obligations, and of course, toxic relationships, this is how you set yourself up. And also, setting these boundaries helps to lower your stress, to avoid situations that you know are not in your best interest. So if you don't get anything from these lectures, remember this. It starts with sleep. Do everything you can. And remember, we're running out of you actually are running out of time. I hate to be so doom and gloom. As you get older, if you don't get into these habits, it becomes tougher to sleep. If you want to build yourself up as someone who can rise to any occasion, rise to any challenge, Your mind and body need to be properly recovered. So, improve your sleep. Get going on a bedtime routine and a morning routine that works for you and stick with it. And just by doing this, my friend, without changing your diet and without being more active, you will immediately feel better. Get to sleep. I'll see you in the next lecture.